Cold air screamed across the surface of the moon, like a living thing. It clawed at metal walls, whispered through reinforced glass, and turned even the strongest alloy brittle over time. The station, Orion Outpost Theta, hung like a stubborn scar on the frozen landscape, its lights flickering against endless white storms. Inside, most species stayed far from the outer corridors. Except her. The alien guard stood at her post, without moving. Tall, silent, wrapped in armor designed for survival, not comfort. Frost clung to the edges of her pauldrons. The exposed sections of her skin, smooth, pale blue, were already forming tiny crystalline patterns from the cold. She didn't shiver. She wasn't allowed to. Her species, the Caliph, believed that enduring the cold proved strength. That pain was discipline. That warmth was weakness. So she stood there, unmoving, as temperatures dipped far below what most beings could survive. And no one stopped. No one spoke to her. No one even looked twice. Until him. Ethan Cole wasn't supposed to be in that corridor. The human diplomat had gotten lost, again, while trying to navigate the station's absurd layout. His boots crunched softly against frost that had crept inside through microfractures in the seals. He muttered to himself, rubbing his hands together. Of course they'd build a station on a frozen death rock, why not? Then he saw her. At first, he thought she was part of the wall. That's how still she stood. But then he noticed the faint tremor in her fingers. Barely visible, barely there. But human eyes were good at noticing small things. And something about that didn't sit right with him. He slowed his steps. "Hey," he called gently. No response. He stepped closer. "You're okay." Her head turned slowly. Golden eyes met his. Sharp, alert, predatory. For a moment, he thought he'd made a mistake. Her voice came out low, controlled. "I am on duty." That wasn't an answer. Ethan frowned slightly. "Yeah, I can see that. But it's freezing out here." Silence. The wind howled against the station walls. He hesitated, then sighed. "Hold on." Before his brain could catch up with his instincts, Ethan shrugged off his jacket. It was standard-issue thermal gear, thick, lined, designed to retain human body heat in extreme environments. He stepped forward and held it out. "Take this." Her eyes flicked down to the jacket, then back to him. "I do not require assistance." Her tone was firm, final, but Ethan just tilted his head. "Maybe not," he said, "but you look like you could use it anyway." Another pause. Longer this time. Something unreadable passed through her gaze. No one had ever offered. Ethan gave a small shrug. "Yeah, well, now someone has." He gently draped the jacket over her shoulders, before she could refuse again. The moment the fabric touched her skin, she froze. Not physically. Something deeper. Her breath caught. Her entire body went still in a way that had nothing to do with discipline. Warmth spread through her. Not just from the material. From him. From his scent. From his presence lingering in the fibers. Her pupils widened. The world seemed to narrow. Focus. Lock. Bond. She inhaled sharply. Ethan stepped back, rubbing his arms. "Trust me, it works. I'll survive without it for a few minutes." But she wasn't listening anymore. Her voice came out softer now, almost reverent. "You have given me your warmth." Ethan blinked. "Oh yeah." A pause. Then she whispered something under her breath. Words he didn't understand. Ancient. Sacred. He laughed awkwardly. "All right, well, stay warm, okay?" And just like that, he walked away. Oblivious. The next morning, the station felt different. Ethan noticed it immediately. People were staring. Not the usual curious glances humans got. No. These were intense. Focused. Whispers followed him through the corridors. Conversations stopped when he passed. By the time he reached the diplomatic wing, 3 different species had bowed their heads slightly as he walked by. "Okay, what is going on?" He turned to his assistant. "Did I miss something? Did I accidentally sign a treaty in my sleep?" Before she could answer, the doors opened, and she walked in. The guard. But she looked different. No longer just a silent sentinel in the cold. Now she wore formal armor. Ceremonial. Marked with symbols Ethan had never seen before. And over her shoulders, his jacket, still wrapped around her like it belonged there. She approached him directly. Every step deliberate. every movement carrying weight. The room went silent. Ethan gave a small, confused smile. Hey, feeling warmer? She stopped in front of him. Close. Too close. Then, she lowered her head. A gesture of respect. No, of acknowledgement. Her voice was steady. Clear. And you are mine. Ethan blinked. I'm sorry, what? Gasps echoed around the room. His assistant looked like she might faint. One of the alien diplomats whispered harshly. Do you not understand what you've done? Ethan turned. Clearly not. The guard lifted her gaze. Golden eyes locked onto his. You gave me your warmth, she said. You placed your scent upon me. You chose me. Ethan stared. I gave you a jacket. In my culture, she continued, to share one's body warmth is to form a sacred bond. It is a claim recognized by our people and our royalty. Silence dropped like a stone. Ethan's brain tried to process that. Failed. Restarted. You're kidding. No one laughed. The alarm hit 2 hours later. Sharp. Violent. Urgent. The station shook as explosions rippled through the outer hull. Security breach. Unauthorized vessels approaching. Diplomats scattered. Guards rushed to positions. Ethan froze. Until a hand grabbed his arm. Strong. Unyielding. Her. Stay with me. Gunfire echoed in the distance. The corridor lights flickered. Wait, what's happening? Assassins, she said simply. For you. That snapped him into motion. Me. You have made a claim that others will not accept. Of course he had. Of course. Why wouldn't a simple act of kindness start an interstellar political crisis? They turned a corner and ran straight into danger. Figures emerged from the shadows. Armed. Fast. Deadly. Ethan's heart slammed against his ribs. He had no weapon. No training. No chance. But she stepped in front of him. Between him and everything. Her stance shifted. Predatory. Lethal. You will not touch him. The first attacker lunged. She moved faster. A blur of motion. Impact. Silence. Then chaos. She fought like a storm given form. Precise. Efficient. Unstoppable.